Thank you all for coming. How long do you normally meditate for?
20 minutes, 25 minutes.
20, 25 minutes. So if you'd like to go into meditation first, then it brings it all into a still place. And from that stillness, then we can see what arises in relation to just looking inwards and looking at ourselves. And the main thing about meditation is going back to stillness and being located, keeping the mind and the body in the same location. And of course there's only one location that can be, is in the body, because that is our ground, our fixture in the body, whereas the mind tends to ramble. And we're working on this alignment, firstly bringing the mind in, getting it aligned to the body, and then behind that we have, deeper in, we have the subtle body, as it takes form within us, or within you, in your experience. Because if I were to ask you, where is life in the first instance, and the only place that life is in that body listening to these words. That's the only place life is in the first instance. There is no life other than the life in your body in the first instance. And you look out through your senses and you see many forms of life around you, but you are seeing them through your senses. Your life in the first instance. This is coming home, coming into the reality of your being. You alone are life in the first instance. No one else inside of you but you in that body, listening to these words. This is being responsible to the life that you are. And of course then we project ourselves through our minds. We create our worlds. We have this projected consciousness around us. And we participate in these worlds. And we crash on particular circumstances. And we tend to disconnect with the reality of our true nature, which is life in that body in the first instant. You will find in moments of crisis in your life, you come back in, naturally and immediately. In the moment of acute danger, you come back in, naturally and immediately. Outside of that, we tend to forget. So the whole purpose of meditation, if it must have purpose, is just to bring us back into alignment with our true being, the life that you are in that body. And how we attend to that normally, from where I come from, is we sit upright on the chair in a straight and relaxed position with the shoulders back and the head resting directly on the spine, which is the most relaxed way for the body. And closing the eyes and just allowing our attention to come inwards. And that's connecting to the sensation in the flesh, just the sensation of life, that tingling, natural sensation. The blood is flowing through the veins in the flesh. Letting the attention stay here. We are not talking about mind, we're just talking about attention. And then coming on down into the body. Let the attention be on the throat, coming down to the shoulders, just attention, up the chest, and letting tensions fall away, just letting them slip down the meridians to the stomach, which is a great psychic furnace, converting the energies and cleaning the dross. Just staying in this stillness, being aware of the body on the chair, the feet on the floor, the hands, keeping the fingers open and the toes open, being aware of the air between the fingers, just letting everything go as we gently come into a deeper stillness. And this is aligning inwards to the subtle body, your inner being, where life is in the first instance, the life that you are. And gently aligning with the subtle body and resting in this stillness. And just letting the attention be on the sensation of life in the flesh, in that body. Just letting the attention rest. In this way the mind remains still. Just being in the body. And gently coming deeper in, into your deep inner space. Here is your ground. Just going back in to the sensation of the flesh, and gently into the subtle realm of your being. Just letting the attention rest in the body, the sensation in the flesh, and letting it come back in into your deep inner space, where everything is all right now. while remaining in this stillness, let our attention rise to the physical body through the sensation in the flesh, and letting this stillness permeate our external worlds of awareness as we open our eyes. So the energy is good. Thank you all for coming. And thank us all for giving ourselves to this gentle awakening, just coming back to our true nature from the activities of our external worlds. We're looking at attention, which is not easy in the world of distraction. But if we were to start at the end rather than the beginning, just take the moment of physical death. When this body, the body that you are, is about to physically die. Just this moment of physical death. Just resting in it for a moment. Because when I die in that body, it is not in a future time, it is always now. This is now. And what we're doing here is sharpening our attentiveness, so being present here now. The only thing that takes us out of this presence is our projecting worlds, our projecting consciousness through our minds, which is quite natural and quite normal. It's the way of things. But what is not the way of things is our forgetfulness. And we're looking at this together. We're looking at it in the first instance. You're not just listening to a speaker giving you more information, because that wouldn't be helpful for what we're doing here. We're looking at the immediacy of life in that body, listening to these words. Now, coming back to the stillness of your being, the only life there is within you. You are this life. So starting at the end, for the sake of the mind and the way we look at things, at that last moment of life in the body, if we are consciously awake, the mind instantly falls down. It has nowhere to go. All the expectations, all the urgencies are instantly gone. All the anxiety driving these expectations, disappointments, urgencies, is gone. You're frozen into stillness. This happens at the point of death, which is now. And what we are doing here in meditation is just coming back to this stillness, this point where it begins and ends, all of it, your entire life journey, in your experience, begins and ends now. We look out at it through the mind, and we're looking into linear time, and we're looking at a journey from the cradle to the grave or whatever, which is quite normal and quite natural. This is our existential world, what we seem to be doing on the peripheral spin of our being. But it is just a peripheral spin. Everything is circular. We're just one motion in movement. And behind this movement is a perpetual rest. I think the man Jesus said it's a movement and a rest. This isn't splitting polarities. From the stillness of your being, which we touch on the ground of our meditation, we're bringing out into our daily activities, into our lives. So now whatever we are doing, we're physically doing it, we're participating whatever needs to be done in the moment, while simultaneously being this rest in this stillness. And this is attention. It's your attention. You know you're not being attentive when there is anxiety arising, when there is disturbance arising. You're just slipping out of your natural alignment with your true nature, your inner being, your inner immortality, who and what you really are in that body, listening to these words. The speaker is just a mirror speaking, reflecting back to you, you being the life you are in the first instance. No difficulty, nothing arising. Everything here is as it is. In this place you attend to life as it is. We see the mind, we see the nature of the mind, we see the thought patterns of the mind. From the stillness we look out at the world through our conditioning, however this person or persona has evolved over time in space and time. In the stillness you're looking through your conditioning. You're seeing your conditioning reacting, while the seeing is allowing the response. You could say you're in a still space observing yourself in action, in your day-to-day living. Just whatever you're doing it clearly, just observing it from inner space. In a little while, even the observer dissolves, and there is just observing. That is all. Attentively looking, without expectation, without distortion. When myself moves on the looking, myself is my persona, my person who I think I am, my accumulation of my emotions, my desires, my feelings, my disappointments, all my past hurts, all my pain, this pain body that develops and expands like a crust around me, the life that I am in that body. When that is doing the looking, that is only creating more of the same. you in the stillness, the ground of your meditation, the looking is coming out through that. You're seeing your pain, you're seeing your disturbance, you're seeing your disappointments, but you find you're not crashing on them, or you're less likely to crash on them when this looking, this silent looking, is your inner presence. Then whatever disturbance is there, it dissolves. If you have a problem in your life, which most of us have, this problem is only there because I am not seeing it rightly. I am seeing it according to my condition. My condition is my expectation of how I think it should be, how I want it to be. When I can see it as it is and allow that spaciousness of looking with no movement, the problem dissolves. This is not something the speaker is saying. It's not something to be remembered. It's just something that you apply directly in your experience. And you see it. We see the ongoing story. All of us are attached to our stories in some form or other. The stories of past, future, more past being regurgitated in what appears as the present. So wherever we are in the mind frame, in the thought patterns of who we think we are in our projected consciousness, it is past. Even the future we perceive, it is past. This is the slow movement of what has been. And in our mind worlds, this is where we tend to live, in what has been. So we're very rarely up to the immediacy of this moment, right now. And bringing us back to the last moment of physical death, when there is no more projection of what has been into what we think should be, it has no place to go. The mind is frozen, and the realization is hitting us hard. As one lives, one dies, to say. The whole purpose of meditation, if it should have purpose, is just bringing us to this attentiveness, to the stillness of the still ground within each and every one of us. That is your true being, your true nature. From where you are born, from where you live, and from where you die. Alone, in that body, without any issue. And we're not looking at an aloneness, we're not running away from it. Because everywhere we look, we see the great beauty of life reflected back to us. The life that you are in your body in the first instance. You see it in the beauty of the daffodil in the springtime, the beauty of the rose in the summertime. You see it in the changing colour of the autumn leaves. You feel it on the frost under your feet. The beauty of life that only you are in the first instance. Only you. You alone are this life in the first instance. This is being responsible, being attentively present now. Not the philosophical now or the mind now, but being attentively present in your being here now. thank you for listening. In the listening, not listening through our condition, not listening through measurement or evaluation, but just listening at this point of immediacy. Because there is nothing to be remembered here. We are just reflecting it to one another, all of us, this one being, one consciousness, the one great beauty that we are. And can we come back just for a moment to the inner stillness of our being? And this time, just connecting to that sense of gratitude in the being, just gratitude for this life, in the body, listening to these words. Just letting the motion of thank you form in our being. Thank you to life. Thank you to God. Thank you to all what is. And just coming into the stillness of the body, which is your temple, your church, your mosque. This is it. In this body, listening to these words in the first instance. And knowing that the stillness is your ground from whence all things arise and recede. Thank you all for your attention. For sharing this.
Would we go for some tea soon? Yeah, a cup of tea sounds good. And then perhaps we can
Have questions.
have a few questions afterwards.
Yes. Good. So speaking about love, is it a feeling? Is love a feeling?
Yeah.
We think so, don't we? In Greek, I think it is. I think they have 3 or perhaps 4 names for love. And in the language Jesus spoke, I think they had 3 names for love. Whenever Jesus was, it's reported that he asked Peter, "Do you love me?" And he had 3 different levels. And of course, Peter was annoyed. "Of course I love you. Of course I do. Of course I do." But each time the question was formed, it was formed at a different level. In the English language, we only have one word for love, and it's possibly want, isn't it? I love you, I want you. In Spanish, it's a little more direct. They say, te quiero means I want you, I love you. Je t'aime en français. But do we know love? I love my child, and my child is going to bring me pain. I love my spouse, my lover. It seems to go with pain, doesn't it? Broken hearts. All the music, big business, isn't it? This love. So we have this love in the existential part of our being. But is it love? It's a feeling of love, as you say. But is it love? Do I love you enough to let you go?
It's a desire.
Desire, yes.
Is love outside of yourself, like it's like that you would want the best for somebody,
Yes.
even if it affects you, if it's not what you want.
Yes.
I think, to me, love is actually letting somebody go, letting them be free,
Letting them be free.
just to be themselves.
Yes.
Do you know, that to me is,
That sounds closely like love, doesn't it? But that's not what we normally take to be love. So you could say the love we're talking about, I think the love we give the intonation to is desirelessness. There's no desire, there's no choice. The air I breathe is a relationship in love, isn't it? It's a movement. The flower gives off its aroma to everyone, doesn't it? Do I give my love to everyone? My love? What's this thing about my love?
No, my love.
There's no my love, is there? But yet we feel this, don't we?
you have to have it. I mean, you can't exist without it. I mean, just think of the refugees. Do you know, that's, I don't know if that's love or compassion, but you want them to be, you know, well.
We have compassion. But bringing the right into my being and staying in the first instance is too compassion. Staying with it in the first instance where life is in this body. Listening to these words. What is love? What is love in me? Or what is it in here?
Is it the vital energy that sustains everything?
Yes. Like we're putting an idea on it, putting a shape on it, but can we touch it? Like in our being? Like, could I say in that body, I am love? Could I say that in that body? That's you saying it. I am love. So what is
Or
it?
the absence of I is love.
Yeah. What is this I? Claiming it. Yeah.
Is it
Yes.
a realization of the connectedness between each of us?
Yeah. Is it something like that?
Is there an I?
Is there an I?
Probably beyond language, isn't
Can't be personal.
It can't be personal. If it's personal, it's not love.
it? It's probably like beyond language, really.
You cannot bring it into language.
No, fluids it.
Yeah.
I suppose love is an energy then, if that's the case.
You could say it's energy.
And in terms of the tangibility,
Yeah.
it's a sensation based within
Yeah.
the body maybe then.
We're back to the sensation in the flesh, in our being.
Tingling,
The
yeah.
tingling sensation. Again. We're not mixing it up with excitement or expectation. I think it has something else. And this is looking at it, just exploring it. Nobody giving the answer.
Do you know when you meet people like with intellectual disabilities and whatever,
Yeah.
Down syndrome, I mean, like when they hug you, that's unconditional. It's
Yeah.
just they're drawn towards you, and when you get a hug, it's like, you know, they squeeze you to death because, you know,
It's the pure,
and they
yeah.
smile and they're
Yeah.
happy, and
Uh-huh.
you can't help but respond. So I think if you feel it, if there's a connection, then you respond to it.
Yes.
So it has to be something that you're drawn towards.
Yeah. But again, I am there being drawn towards it, aren't I?
Mm.
You know, somebody mentioned here, can I be nothing? I know I am here, am I love? Can I be nothing? Can I be so much nothing? There is only love.
the creative force
Yes.
that's there whether we're here or not.
No, no. Yes. Yes.
But it's not that you're not feeling nothing, it means that when you're not, that you're a part of something
You're one with it.
and that you're linked up.
Yes.
Like you said a while ago, aligned.
Yes. You're one with it. Yes. In that sense. And we're looking here at myself as well. Myself in here. And the myself body with its pain, with its, and this myself body that most gradually takes off from infancy. It's building itself up, and it's wherever it's born into in society, and it's gathering mass, and we're becoming more and more pronounced as self. And we have the pain self, and we have the need to be loved. And this self isn't lovable, but yet it has this desperate need to be loved. So we're reaching out in that. So we're working through our pain self.
It doesn't have to be human, but it can be animals as well.
Yeah, well, I'm just staying with what's rising in
Human,
me.
okay.
In me, I'm trying to stay in the first instance because I don't want to go into erudition. Because we're defining it then, and we're trying to do comparisons, and we're not moving on the word.
You know, is that projection of that self that gathers that and moves on through life, really looking for love or looking for agreement?
Well, you could say recognition, isn't it? It's looking for all of that, yes.
Let's say if it was really to find love, it would dissolve.
Well, love would dissolve it, wouldn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yes, we could say that almost.
Yeah.
Love would dissolve it.
So that projected self is really looking
Yeah.
for.
You have a question?
Yeah, I'd say we are love. And when you shed everything, what's not you and what's left is love.
It's love, yes. It's like peeling the onion, isn't it? Yes.
And you love, like, let's say, I love you not less than I love you, which is just,
There is just love, isn't it? Like when you go into the experience of it in your being, let's say you're with somebody you love, man, woman you love, or even making love, and then you find yourself saying, I love you. Instantly you're aware of the shallowness in the word. You're aware of the contamination in the word in relation to the inner rest of love.
And so many people want to hear that.
Yeah, all the time. So we see how myself needs love all the time, and how myself is the contaminant, isn't it? Can I just be in the stillness of love?
Rest in
Myself
peace.
can't. Pardon?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace. Myself can't. Myself can never rest in peace. It's always got something to do, hasn't it?
You're always looking for reassurance.
Reassurance all the time.
It's always like, somebody to tell you everything is okay, it's fine, it's grand.
Exactly. Yeah.
But so, I don't know, can you experience, you can, I suppose, to a certain extent, if you're a hermit or whatever, do you know what I mean? There's nothing else around you, only love, as in nature and the whole lot. So you don't have to experience it with anybody, really.
No, it just is, isn't it?
Yeah.
With myself, it's not. Maybe. Love is.
But love surely emanates love.
Yes, love emanates
It
love.
emanates love because
Yes.
you could be a hermit, but if you're not emanating love, you won't mirror it either.
Yes.
You must
Yes.
emanate it first.
If I'm not in the way blocking it, but if I am here present, am I creating a bit of a distortion to it? Because what's the word in English? Is it diffraction? It's not exactly what I think it is. Things aren't what they seem to be. Looking out through myself, we only see things according to our condition. Can love emanate through your being if there is pain and disturbance in you?
Yes.
How can love emanate in your being if there is pain and disturbance in you?
If it's around you.
No, in you.
In
In you, because we're looking in the first instance here.
Because it's your core, it depends on the individual, it's where you're at.
So we're talking about where you are now, like in the moment. If I am disturbed, if there's a disturbance in me,
Yes, the eye is disturbed.
the I is disturbed, isn't it? Who I think I am. I am, and then next to that is who I think I am. And who I think I am is mind and is projection.
So Helen, is it an identity problem?
It's, well, we're creating identities all of the time, aren't we? And then we're expanding these identities. And again, that's, we come over here looking for assurance, reassurance, and we continuously need reassurance, but it's only myself that needs reassurance, and it's myself the disturber.
If you give yourself to somebody, that's not, you know, do somebody a favour or just try and help somebody without looking for anything in return, you know, I think that's love.
Yeah.
You know,
So we're saying there is no expectation in love.
yeah.
If there is expectation, then it's not love. I love you because you're beautiful.
Well, what when you get old, so
Yeah,
lovely.
exactly.
You get fat or whatever, like, you can't stay the same forever.
But what hears it? Like the intelligence within you hears it. Hears what's being said. Isn't it? Yeah.
And in the Course in Miracles says, what is it? Love has no conditions.
If it has a condition, it's not love, isn't it? Yeah. It's myself. And hence we have all the different expressions of what we think love is. It's just an emanation.
It's maybe a vibration, that reaches a certain level of resonance, but it's sensed by others, but
Yeah.
sense the same
Yes.
vibration. But
Yes. Exactly, yes. Like we project our worlds. The world is as I am. Whatever is emanating through you is the world. So when I see all of these things that's happening existentially to me, and the only movement one has to make is in myself. As you mentioned, what's emanating through me changes the environment around me. Doesn't matter where you are, or what the hostilities are, it's what's emanating through you is life.
Ellen, would you mind going back a bit? You mentioned there about during a crisis there can be seeing, and that has been my experience. Or what did you mean about at the pinnacle of success?
Well, that's, we're moving away from what we're speaking on. When reality strikes, it strikes. And it's just being attentively present to receive it. You are setting up your journey. Whatever you are doing in your life, whatever is occurring in your life, whatever is repeating itself in your life, you're the one doing it. You're setting up your journey. And if you believe, whatever you believe in, it's your journey. I say to you, believe in nothing. Just rest without any belief. But if you believe in something very strongly, in success in some way, of course we all believe in things. You want to believe in being the best in your profession. And again, I strike at that from here. Stop trying to be the best in anything. Stop trying to be measurable or measuring. Just do your best. And in doing your best, rest in the assurance that your best is always good enough. There is no competition there. If you happen to be the best in that, then so be it. If you happen not to be the best, in that way, so be it. You're not elevated by your word or elated by your word, or you're not dropped by your word. You see it as it is. And this is being in the stillness of your being while doing whatever you do, doing your best. And rest with that. And a time comes when you have to let things go. Well, the time comes when you have no alternative but to let things go. But this time is happening every moment in your life, letting go. This is why we're speaking about meditation with keeping the fingers open, keeping the toes open, letting the attention be on the air between the fingers, between the toes. You know, in that sense of openness, you're not holding on to anything, you're not clinging to anything. And in that openness, there is a flowing or an emanation, you could say, of, you might say it's love. But there's nothing on it. It's not reaching out for anything. The flower is giving out its aroma to everyone, everything that's passing. It's just doing what it does. Can I just be that flower? Can I just wither when the time is there, or to wither and die and disappear? Or do I cling on and hang on? Can I be the ripe apple? Or can I be the apple falling from the tree? Can I be the process of all of it as it rejuvenates in the earth, in the wonder and beauty of all of its life? Can I be that? Or do I have to be caught in this persona, this personal self, this personal story, who I think I am, that I believe in so firmly? Once I get the next issue completed, everything will be all right. Once I get the next contract, everything will be all right. Rushing, rushing, rushing. I can't die yet because I have things to sign. Can I be so present that I'm ready to die right now, with nothing to sign, nothing to do, just right now, so be it? Can I be in a state of presence that I don't have to return or make amends to anyone for anything? I don't have to go somewhere to say I'm sorry for saying that. Can I live with this attentiveness every moment, that I'm ready every moment to die?
Can you simplify all this?
The reality is, every moment I am dying. It's a process. It's only an elasticated process. But when the attentiveness speeds up, we see all of it. There's cradle and there's grave. It's all in one moment. But we elasticate it out, and now we have a journey. And myself gets on this journey, this building up of this persona, with all of its self and its agendas and everything else, and it's, oh, there's going to be a grave and a death. What do I do? How can I? Oh, I give myself a soul. It gives itself a soul. Now it's got the soul, it's got a belief structure, and then it needs some savior to save it. It's often another belief structure, something else. Or reincarnation, go top over into something else. Elastication. This is the craziness of myself. When here in meditation, coming into the stillness of being, you're actually touching the ground of your true essence, of the wonder, the beauty, and the vastness of who and what you are. Not this little petty story, elasticated story, with all its heartaches and its problems and its insecurities and building its houses on bridges and all of this type of thing, and the water's going and washing it away, and pretending everything is all right, and believing in something. If enough of us believe in the same thing, then we'll feel secure. Now, all of this fictitiousness that dances through the mind construct of these thought patterns, and not only thought patterns, pull back and look at them. Just little looking, little seeing happens. You know, they had programs like Star Trek some years ago, and it was quite well written in some of the episodes, where they had this called this holodeck, And the players, every now and again, they would go into the holodeck and they would key in the program they wanted to enter, and then they would enter the 16th century, the 17th century, or the 18th century, or whatever, or 20th century. And sometimes they would crash in there. They would become so attached to their roles inside there that the captain, what his name, had a problem. They had to come back on duty, so he had to send in the robotic guy called Data, who was emotionless and feelingless, to rescue them. To wake up. You're in a dream world. It's not a reality, it's the holodeck. Our real world is the Star Trek. It's just a little caricature of what's happening here. You know, it's a dream world. All your issues and your problems that appear as issues and problems, they're only passing occurrences in the greater reality of your being. Every time you touch the ground in meditation, for example, when the mind falls still and the alignment comes in through the mind into the body and the subtle body before it takes form. You're in the stillness of your being before it takes form. This is only congealing of projection in the consciousness of what we think we are, which we're now looking at in quantum physics and areas like that. And it's tying into, oh yeah, that makes sense. Is it a wave or is it a particle? Whatever I perceive it to be, it'll take on those characteristics. Even Einstein was spooked by this. There is something vaster than all of it that's coming through. Where? Me, in that body. That's the vastness we're talking about. That's the vastness just beyond beliefs, just beyond all of that. Resting in the reality of your true nature, of your being that you are.
Do you know when you said that in death your mind is numb and it's just everything is gone.
It's frozen into attentiveness.
Yeah, like it was like as if you experienced it. It was like as if you were near there. Described that way, because you don't know.
Just stay with what you know. Just stay with what you don't believe anything you hear. Let it resonate with you, but don't believe anything you hear. Just rest with what is known within you. Otherwise it's a story, it's more information coming at you. It goes into the memory. What we're speaking about is not memory. There's none of this being stored in memory. There is no memory needed in the immediacy of who and what you are in your body right now. Memory is a secondary occurrence when you see how the thought patterns work.
Can I ask you a question? I don't know, it was said to me that certain people, if somebody is dying, that if there's a certain person in the room with a huge connection to the person, that sometimes they don't want to die in front of that person, they'll wait until they're gone.
Yes, possibly, yes. But staying with your immediacy, staying with you, because again we are going into secondary knowledge. And secondary knowledge takes us out there, and now we're into the colleges, universities, research centres and everywhere. We're into huge debate and we're back to Aristotle. It's not where we are. Let all of that go, let everything go and be where you are right now.
What if you have difficulty getting out of your mind?
Difficulty getting out of your mind? The mind is what builds up the story. The mind is what builds up my character of who I think I am. And I become very attached to this. And this becomes my substance.
Your identity.
And my identity, but it becomes my substance as well. And I am stuck on this and I'm dependent upon it. When we're looking at stillness, like when you're coming into meditation, into the stillness, we are just easing in from that rigidity of that structure into the physical body structure. And we're connecting to the sensation, the sensation in the flesh of, I am life. I alone am life in this body. I alone am this life. And just in that stillness of letting that well up in you, and letting the gratitude for life well up in you. And you find yourself saying thank you to life, whatever it is, to an intelligence that's far greater than myself, you could say that's love. That's a movement and a rest in love. When that burns through, again, when denotes time, so we can't put words on it. But in that movement and rest, you're in that right now. This is life. You rise into your world. You rise out to your mind and you do what needs to be done. You're attending to it, whatever needs to be done, but you're not crashing on anything. You see what needs to be done, you do it. You see what can't be done, and it can't be done. And you're coming from the stillness. And the mind is working rightly.
So, you have a rich man and you have a poor man. They both get up at the same time in the morning and they both go to bed at the same time at night. So they fill a vacuum of hours, right? The rich man goes on trying to make more money all day long and he's rushing, he's running, he's no time for his family. He's spending all his hours working. And the poor man is meditating, doing his thing all day, calm, relaxed, no panic in his life. Which at the end of the day is the richer?
They might both be the same. If I'm working...
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Which is the most conscious of both men?
Where are you in this one, too?
The world is like that, isn't it?
How am I? Or what am I projecting like this? I mean, we'll be in the first instance. What's rising in me? But I'm going out into the existential side of it in relation to the question, is there any real difference if I am meditating twice a day or 3 times a day, I'm doing all types of novenas and prayers because I want to be saved, I want my salvation. What's the difference between that striving and the striving of a man over here who wants to be the billionaire? Is there any real difference?
No.
When you look at it? It's still a projection of striving, isn't it? To be something I'm not. It's still a movement in becoming, isn't it? So there's no real difference. You could even say it's exactly the same. Couldn't you? And this brings us back into, where am I in this? Who am I? Can I be just nothing? Can I rest in the stillness of nothing? Without movement? Can I be in the rest while the movement is occurring? Can I be this attentive to life? The life that I am in that body, listening.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go.
All the arrogance and everything gone. You're just there and there's
The problems have gone,
yeah,
haven't they?
there's nothing there.
It's given space. You're giving space to the projected world. And when enough are given space, or giving space, or space is being allowed to enough people, projected world, what happens to the disturbance in the world around us? It dissolves. It just dissolves. Is it me dissolving it? Is it us dissolving it?
Collectively.
No, it just dissolves. The dissolving happens.
So that's important.
We are not pushing it. We're not feeding it. It myself. It starts and ends in me. Only in me.
That comes back to what we emanate.
Yes, it comes back to the emanation, what's rising through me. That can only be seen in attentiveness I wouldn't even say it's my attention, because then it's me, myself, trying to be better or trying to be something else. Just letting attentiveness be in the body as we're coming into meditation, in the sensation of the flesh in the body, the attentiveness of life, being life, being present. And in this presence, there is no problem. Because in this presence I am born, in this presence I live, and in this presence I die. No problem.
And if we're at rest and movement at the one time,
Yeah.
it's like the chain of the bicycle.
Yes.
A lot of it gets linked up.
Yes.
They're doing that individually, but together.
Yes. Yes.
How
And you see, when you're talking to your children or your teenage sons or daughters or whatever, when they're going into the places they shouldn't go, and you're speaking through your stress, and of course they have to resist. And there is no communication, there's only a hardness, crust building all around you and around them. But in the stillness, even the child has space to see what's right and what's not right in whatever they're doing, rather than I trying to force them or push my will on them. Do what you do. Just do whatever you do. Don't put anything on it. Just let the attention be there, that you know you're doing it. Just be attentively present, and that attention in itself shines the light on what you will do naturally in the harmony of the creation you see around you, the nature you see around you. It's a harmonization of your being, of your true nature we're speaking about here. Going right back into your true nature. We're coming out of the acquired nature of the world. The world is my projected consciousness. The world is what I am. The contaminant, you could almost say. We were in the world, and now you're in the world, but you're not of the world. And now your movement is emanating that in the world, which is helping dissolve the world in you and in those around you.
You didn't speak anything about fear.
Fear is only in relation to myself. In my true nature, resting in the presence of your true nature, there is no fear. Because there isn't a self in here present. We're just exploring this. Like, I'm not telling you something. It's catching it immediately in you. All I can speak is what's immediate in us. I am afraid when I am attached to something. I'm afraid of losing something, aren't I? But then I could ask, what is your greatest fear? Your greatest fear is your greatest disturbance. And your greatest disturbance is where I am not being true to the situation, whatever the situation is in my life. So I have only fear when I am not being true to the situation. The truth can only be in the situation, it's not in myself. So the fear in me is where I am not meeting the situation as it is. I'm trying to shape the situation into something I want it to be, or something I believe it to be, or something I expect it to be. And that's where my fear is coming in, isn't it? Whereas if I allow the looking to occur, and now there's going to be pain, there's going to be a welling up of the fear. Hold the resonance. Just stay still as you can, as you're allowing the looking to go on the situation that's causing the fear. In that looking, you will find the truth, which is the solution to the issue arising, and you will find the fear dissolving. all we're doing here is negating self, just letting self fall off, right down to peeling the onion where there is nothing. And perhaps this nothing might be love.